Robert Reich, who was Bill Clinton's labor secretary and who I just think the world of. I like everything he writes. He writes a lot of commentary at his blog site, but he also writes for various publications. I got this out of the Guardian of the UK. The headline of this: Trump is seriously, frighteningly unstable. The world is in danger. You think? Um, the thrust of his article is that it's almost too late for impeachment, which it is. I mean, we have election coming up in 13 months, roughly 14 maybe. The 25th Amendment is untested. Nobody knows how that would ever work. And the ballot box offers the only remaining hope to rid ourselves of this monster. Reich writes this: in retrospect, what's most disturbing about Sharpiegate, yeah, I hate the suffix gate added to these scandals ever since Watergate. I mean, my God, Watergate was 40 years ago or more, 45 years ago. Please, can we stop? Anyway, Sharpiegate, he says what's most disturbing isn't Trump's clumsy effort to doctor a National Weather Service map, or even his brazen move to get the agency to lie on his behalf, which they were happy to do. Foot washing, right? Reich says it's how utterly petty his motive was. That's the thing about Trump. He is one of the most petty individual ever to control nuclear weapons in the history of the human race. Oh yeah, worse than Nixon, worse than Bush. Reich writes, we've had presidents trying to cover up a sexual liaison with an intern. That would be Bill Clinton. Jack Kennedy never boinked interns that we're aware of. And a botched burglary, that would be Nixon. But we've never had one who went to such lengths to cover up an inaccurate weather forecast. Alabama being hit by a hurricane? Friends, this is not rational behavior, Reich writes. Yeah, well, you're preaching to the choir on this podcast, but I like Reich, so let me go on. Trump has also canceled a meeting with the Taliban at Camp David. The meeting was to have been secret. It was scheduled for the week of the anniversary of 9/11. He canceled the meeting with a tweet. Does any of this, Reich wants to know, strike you as remotely rational? Well, Robert, quick answer is no. The longer answer is F the rest of it, no. Before that, Trump canceled a state visit to Denmark because Denmark wouldn't sell Greenland to us. Greenland wasn't for sale. Yeah. The United States no longer buys populated countries. We just don't do it anymore. That state visit had been planned for months, but Trump, you won't sell Greenland? He has told senior officials to explore using nuclear bombs to stop hurricanes. He believes video games cause mass shootings. He thinks climate change is no big deal. He says trade wars are, quote, good and easy to win. He insists it's Chinese rather than U.S. consumers who pay his tariffs. He orders American firms to stop doing business in China. He calls the chairman of the Federal Reserve an enemy. He retweets a comedian's sick suggestion that the Clintons were responsible for the suicide of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Reich then writes, I think we have to face the truth that no one seems to want to admit. This is no longer a case of excessive narcissism or grandiosity. We are not simply dealing with an unusually large ego. The President of the United States is seriously, frighteningly, dangerously unstable, and he's getting worse by the day. Well, I would rephrase that just a little bit, Your Honor. Unstable. Unstable is like a chair that we have up in the kitchen. One of the legs has come loose. That's it, unstable. Trump is insane. Trump is certifiably mad. But that's all right. I get what Raj is saying. He goes on, such a person in the Oval Office can do serious damage. What to do? What to do indeed. We can vote him out of office in 14 months' time, but he could end the world in 7.5 seconds. Oh, Lord. There's also the question, as Mike Malloy has often brought up, no, he didn't put that in there, of whether he'll willingly leave. He's not going anywhere. I keep saying this. Can you imagine the lengths he will go to win? Will he get Russia to do more dirty work, instruct the Justice Department to arrest his opponent, issue an executive order banning anyone not born in the U.S. from voting, start another war? By the time the courts order him to cease whatever unconstitutional effort he's making to remain in office, the election may be over, or he'll just ignore the courts. It's almost too late for an impeachment. Besides, no president has ever been sent packing. Nixon resigned because he saw it coming. Trump would sooner start a civil war. Also, being unstable is not an impeachable offense. The only attribute Vice President Mike Pence has displayed so far is sycophancy. Most recent illustration, overnighting at Trump's golf resort in Ireland. But with rumors flying that Trump might exchange him for another lapdog, who knows? Maybe Pence will discover some cojones. Another problem, 25th Amendment doesn't define who the so-called principal officers are, and the Constitution never mentions the word cabinet. If Trump thought a revolt was brewing, he'd just fire everyone. I wouldn't completely rule out the 25th Amendment, Raj writes, but the only thing that's going to get Pence and a majority of Trump's lieutenants to pull the plug before Trump pulls it on them may be so horrific that the damage done to America and the world would be way beyond anything we've experienced to date. Right. Which is to say, be careful what you wish for. Pray that we make it through the next 14 months. Then do everything in your power to remove this person from office. I just hope that enough Americans are paying attention to what is going on. I hope Democrats and independents and rational Republicans will go out and vote for whomever is running against Trump. Your life, your country's life, possibly the planet's life, depends on it. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.